Hollie here for PlayStation Access. I am still in the beautiful and sunny Texas, and I'm at QuakeCon, but now I'm talking to Raf because we are talking about Prey and your version of Prey, and that's where I'm going to start. Now, I know you've addressed it before, but what is this Prey? Is it a reboot, a reimagining? Is it a redesign, or is it D, none of the above?
So first of all, it's an arcane game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a first-person game where there's a lot of player choices in every ways, like the way you play, the way you orient the story.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make one more of those after Dishonored, right? And we wanted to be in space against aliens.
Yep.
We have all those deep, interesting mechanics. So at a very high level, you can look at it and see the comparison with the concept of Prey. But that's pretty much all it is. The rest is really our world, our game.
So we're here at QuakeCon. So when the live stream ended, we saw a gameplay demo, a lot more than what was in the trailer. You guys talked us through it. So I'm going to touch on some of those bits and try and get some more details out of you. So we know the enemies are aliens. They look like non-corporeal. They have no body.
Mm-hmm.
What are these? Because it was a very dream-like trailer that you released publicly. Is this all somehow linked? Is it somehow all a fantasy world?
Right. So, well, when we started and we wanted aliens, and of course, there's only 3 main archetypes of aliens that have been used over and over.
Yep.
And so we wanted to come with something different, as different as we could. And so that's why we went towards something that is more like paranormal, mind powers and this kind of stuff. And so it's kind of ghostly, and they're hard to truly grasp. And so it's deliberate. And then what they do really is that they have their own ecology. Some turn into things, and when you think you can escape them, they still, as you could see at the end, like they still pour through the door, and even though they were bigger than the door, so that's what they are.
Cool. Now, the mimics were the little ones, they're the little scuttly ones. No one really likes anything that's small and fast in the world of video games.
Mm-hmm.
But the mimics, well, we were able to mimic something later on, and I know that we can learn powers of these aliens by studying them.
Right.
Can you give me a little bit of information about how do you study an alien and then learn its powers?
Right. So on this space station, you will learn the purpose of the space station as you play, and they are actually studying aliens in this secretly. So you find a device called a psychoscope at some point in the game that allows you to study the aliens, like the scientists used to do on this space station. And the more you study a specific type of alien, the more you're going to unlock what that alien does.
Okay.
So in the case of the mimic, if you keep studying it, like next one, so it takes a fair amount of mimics. It's not just one. Then you can unlock the power, and then you use something called the neuromod, which is something that the company TrendStar, which is on board of the space station, developed and sell to the world. It's a device that you plug into your eye to modify your brain structure and learn some new abilities. So initially you can only do human stuff, you can be stronger or more agile, etc.
Okay.
So that's one part of the tree. And then at some point you unlock the alien tree, and you can also learn what they do.
So these neuromods then, are these they're quite hard to find? You have to solve puzzles and you unlock one and that helps you unlock, or are they just sort of everywhere, or there's a key point you always return to use one?
No, you find them in the world, and since the way we're very invested in making things that are cohesive, so it's not like you find them anywhere. They will be usually in places where they make sense.
Okay.
But you can also fabricate them if you find the plan to fabricate them.
I imagine that needs some pretty intense materials to make a neuromod.
Right, so it takes the materials, some alien material of course, and so it takes to find the plan, and the plan itself is its own side quest. So.
Love a side quest. So the variety of these powers then, are we talking loads of them, or is it just a handful of really good ones, and can you use them any one all at once, or do you almost have a loadout of powers that are equipped?
I would compare the granularity of our abilities to all the games we've done in the past, since Arx Fatalis to Dishonored. So, we're not like a super wide RPG. We're not super narrow either. We're like this kind of games that blends, action and RPG. But it's pretty varied. We don't have the final number because we're still like adding some and sometimes removing some. We're still in the tuning phase or playtesting the game. But here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that you won't be able to have all the powers and abilities in one playthrough. So if you want to see them all, you'll have to play twice.
Okay, and we've seen people comboing them as well. So in the video we were watching, someone used Mimic to turn into like a ball to roll past an enemy sentry, and then used like a force push to then throw themselves up onto a second floor. Have you purposely built these powers with that comboing in mind?
No. But that's the beauty of simulation, is that we think our powers or systems in general, we think them in isolation, really. Like we give them like some sort of purpose. Like it would be great to have something that propels objects around, like with physics, And then a month later, we say, what? It would be cool if we could actually the same, since we can take the abilities of the aliens, and this one turns into object. Wouldn't it be cool if we could turn into objects? And so we made the power, and then at some point somebody thinks of combining both.
Let's go on to the weapons then, because yes, we have powers, but there are still weapons. Now, before we get onto the crazy ones, like the glue gun, let's just talk about basic weapons. So when we picked up a handgun, you guys said, look, weapons are rare. Now, to me, that just makes me think like dead space, you're surrounded, you've got no ammo. It adds a very survival horror aspect. Is that what you were going for with it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of starving, which is more like in order to encourage the player to use other, including some of the powers that we've shown. So because if you give to players the most direct weapons, they will go for the most direct route.
I'm guilty of that, yeah.
Right. But then if you're out of ammo, then you will start thinking, okay, what if I turn into an object to pass this thing? What else do I have in my arsenal of stuff? So that's the idea.
So the glue gun, which was, again, it was very creative weapon, but again added a little bit of light relief and just amazement. Not only could we freeze enemies, not only could we cap off gas pipes to stop fire so we could walk through, but we literally built a path to the second floor.
Right.
Again, are there going to be other weapons like this that allow us to really just do what we want and get creative?
Yeah, when we design a weapon, so as I said, it's in isolation, but usually it's multi-purpose. It's not just a weapon. So for example, if you the other weapon that we showed, which is not quite a weapon, but it's a gadget, it's the recycler charge.
That was amazing.
So this initially is designed to clean a room, and the player is going to use it for different ways, either because he wants to clear a path, because there are some objects in front of it and he doesn't have leverage level 3, which would allow him to move those objects around, but instead he still have one of those, and so use that. Or because he needs something, he needs to create some more shotgun shell, and then he's going to recycle stuff to be able to create them. Or, by the way, you can also throw it at enemies and recycle them. So
amazing. Now the environment. We're on Metalos 1. You've already come out and said it's not a linear environment.
Right.
Is this an open world? Would you describe it as open world?
So open world is a dangerous word because it's like it has associations of running around in a forest for miles and miles, which is not the case. So we came up with the term open space station.
Open space station. I like it. That's good.
Because the scale is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's open world in the sense that yes, you can. Once you start unlocking areas, you can come back to them. You can it's always accessible, right? And the context might have changed, so you might come back and something is different. Also, since the beginning, you have like a main quest to follow, but you might think, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore the main quest for a while and just try to go
Side
there and
quest.
see what's there, what there is there. And not even, there are side quests, but even just for yourself, just seeing what if I go for a while in this, will I find something interesting? And so you can, but most of the time it will be more encouraged to follow the main thing, because the rest you can, and maybe you can find some cool objects that you would not find otherwise, but it's probably more dangerous as well. So.
Cool. So last question then. We went outside in this gameplay demo. Can we go outside with Talos 1 at any point? And if so, how does that change the gameplay? Because I saw an oxygen meter. I'm assuming obviously most of our weapons, we won't really be able to use them. What can we do outside? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. So I think the space is introduced for the first time as an alternate route because you know you need to go to another level and the level is blocked because you know some reason, and so like you go in space and then you find another airlock and get inside. That's how it's introduced. However, then you can use that later the way you want. If you want to do a side quest, you're at the 4th level and you know that there is this thing and you have to go to the power plant or whatever. It's like, how do I go there? Well, maybe I go outside, or maybe I use the elevator. And then as you are outside, there are things that you can just explore, like broken bits of the station where there might be the equivalent of a cave. So there are things in there. There might be aliens that floats there as well that attack you. There might be a shuttle that is somewhere that you can actually try and access and get inside. So that's the idea.
Amazing. Thank you very, very much for your time. Hopefully you guys will get to see the gameplay that we saw soon, because it really does give so much. In the meantime, there's a video of myself and Nathan going through everything we saw, so you guys can check that out. In the meantime, carry on subscribing to Access, because there is loads more coming up and loads more from QuakeCon as well.